before we get stuck into the fishing, it's nice to have a little look round the mountainside here, because after all, the major industry in Sweden is the paper trade, and I think these birch logs here are cleared out every so often to make way for these major stems to come up. This is a pretty little patch here. Lots of berries. There's some blueberries and cowberries there. I think it's every man's right here to be able to walk into these woods and to pick berries whenever they like. Some mushrooms here, or toadstools rather. I'd eat that if I was at home. That looks like a boletus, but I don't know about these little red men. They look highly dangerous to be. Oh, look at that. Just the right size for a Christmas tree. These blueberries are delicious. Look at the lovely colour of this heather here. But I think the nicest thing of all is this view. What a knockout. We're 2,000 feet above sea level here in the higher upper Chlorelven River Valley. Actually, the river starts way over there to the west, runs the whole length of Norway, and then comes through Värmland, probably the best county in Sweden for fishing, and it finishes in Karlstad, a lovely city, a very clean city, and just south of the city it flows into Lake Vänern, where there's even some salmon fishing. But up in these higher reaches, the river's very different from what it is down at Karlstad. It's much faster, and there's different species too. They tell me there's grayling, dace, trout, and I think there's even a few eyed. And I plan to fish it in a most unusual manner. I'll show you how in a minute. Well, I told you it would be something different, didn't I? How about this for a fishing holiday? You can go all the way downstream from here, some 80 miles towards Karlstad. I've already got my gear ready, landing net, fly rod, trotting rod. I've got some maggots, some beer, all the provisions. All I need to do is cast off and we're away. Let's put the Polaroids on. It's such a bright day. Right, here we are. This is going to be fun. Ooh. Well, I'm often on the Norfolk Broads in a boat, and I spent 3 years in the Merchant Navy on a ship, but I've never been on a raft before. There's a big boulder there. Let's see how we do. I won't go too far out into the current. We'll just drift down and have a look at the bottom and see where the runs are as we go. It's quite clear here. Very sandy bottom, huge great big beds of bright green streamer weed. And yet the water's got a sort of a peaty look to it. Really is an unusual river, this Chlorelven. Most unlike anything I've ever fished before. It's so rich though, the fly life is tremendous. But as yet we haven't seen much rising, so I think I'm going to start off trotting when I get below the bridge there. There's a lot of weed here, a lot of weed. Well, this is lovely. Talk about peace. Really is wonderful. It's a good job there aren't too many floating logs, because they use this river to float the logs down from higher upstream to the various paper factories, and so you have to be careful at certain times with the amount of logs coming downstream. Actually, this is just a nice speed for trotting. Now then, have we held? Yes, we're holding. Oh, that looks lovely there. Bit of a mouth-watering spot. Let's just check that anchor again. No, we're not holding, we're still drifting a bit. Power of this flow is tremendous. Yes, I think we're holding now. This looks a lovely spot here. Right. Let's get the seat out and give this a go here, I think. Got an enormous, great big tub of maggots here. What I'll do, I'll put a few upstream. One or two logs coming by. I don't think there's that many to be troublesome though. Let's put a few more upstream. The flow here is really quite strong. Right. Ooh. I think I'm going to start with the trotting rod. This looks absolutely lovely here. Let's get the net out. It's quite exciting really, be on a river like this where you've never fished, never seen before, and you just don't know what to expect. I think we'll move on to this side of the raft. That'll give me that lovely long line going right through there. Oh, this is beautiful. A king's seat, this is. This is a king's seat. I've got a very, very large, chunky loafer float on here, and I've got a 4 swan shot setup. I'm going to put a plummet on and see what sort of depth we've got. It's certainly over 8 or 9 feet. And the water's very swirly. I'm going to need all of this float. I might even need something a little bit heavier. Let's plumb those slack eddies first. No, that's... Oh, I don't know. That is deep there. Wow. That is tremendously deep. What's it like off the raft here? Straight down in front of me. That's very deep as well. Let's put the float up a bit. I've been warned that this is a very deep, powerful river, and they're right. There's no doubt about that. That's about right there. That's lovely. Let's go for that. And what depth is that? That's almost the whole of my 13-foot trotting rod. I've got the weights split into 2 groups way down, and I've got a 10 hook on, and let's put 3 or 4 maggots on to start with. As there's grayling and dace and eyed and apparently some whitefish, which you don't often catch in this particular river. And they're all liable to take maggots, so we'll try that. Well, that's an enormous, great big log. I'm glad that didn't hit the raft. Been a bit of a clonker if it had done. Nice thing about trotting big rivers like this, you don't need to cast. Just plonk it in front of you, straighten the line a bit, and down we go. Whew, that is pouring line off this centre pin. That is very fast water indeed. Lovely though. Hear the centre pin click round, hitting my thumb as I'm holding back a little bit. That's lovely trotting water. It's very, very fast though. Very fast indeed. I don't know whether this is the spot we're going to catch fish in this upper river, or whether we need to find the slacks, and there aren't too many slacks. It's belting through wherever you go really. It's a lovely trot down. I think I'm catching that log up. Oh, I think I had a bite first cast there. Let's have a look. I don't know, there's no signs on the maggots. Let's try it again. I've got 4 on a size 10 hook. We'll start with that. Seems a bit big by English standards, I think, but then the fish in this river, most of them have never seen a hook before, and I don't think they're going to worry about a size 10 with for maggots, at least they can see it in this fast water. That's trotting down beautifully there, that is lovely. Oh, this is a centre-pin fisherman's dream, this river, it really is. That is wonderful, that's peeling off the pin there beautifully. Don't know how far I'm going to let this go down because I've left the eddy and I'm going down in the steady water now. Oh, I've got some logs coming by me here. There aren't any more upstream. No, they could give the raft quite a clonk, I'm sure. Hello, yep, we're in. I wonder what it is. Feels a bit like a grayling. Oh, I don't know. Don't know, it's curious. It's not going absolutely bananas, but strange. Peculiar fight. What is it? Oh, what? Look like a grayling. Got to have a go against this flow. What is it? Yeah, it's a grayling. Ooh, let's get the net. Ooh. Oh, I don't know. Might not be. No, it isn't a grayling. It's a peculiar looking thing. Whatever it is, I've never caught one of these before. Looks rather like a whitefish of some sort. Yes, it is. Let's have a look. Oh, careful. Yes, it is. Now, if I'd have caught that in Scotland, that would have been a powan. But it's what they call in Sweden a whitefish. It's got the adipose fin of a... Whoops, careful. It's got the adipose fin of a grayling, but the dorsal fin of a roach or a dace. Funny looking thing. It's got a protrusible, semi-protrusible mouth there. Well, that's a good start. Whoa, great. Well, it's unfortunate it's gone a bit grim now and it's even starting to spit with rain. I didn't get any more powan or whitefish, whatever they call them, back up near the bridge there, so I'm going to drift down a spell and see what we can find down here. There's not really much in the way of visible current deviations here. It's almost all the same, fairly flat and fairly fast, so I'm just going to go down with the raft and until I see a spot that looks inviting. I like some of these spots where the logs get caught up in the bankside growth and the current shoots off at angles, and I think I'm going to see if I can find one of those because it's about the only type of diversion in the currents that I can find. Beautiful scenery here, even though it's dismal at the moment. The clouds are quite low, but the sun's peeking over the tops of those conifers there and probably come out again later on. What a wonderful valley this is. As if to answer me, there's a lot of sheep over on the left-hand bank there. Some of those are black and they look rather like those Welsh mountain sheep. It's funny, the left-hand bank here is all covered in tall birches and this bank is stacked with conifers. One or two willows along the bank. Goat willows they look like. And the last of the summer's willow herb sitting between them. Well, if this rain gets any worse, I'm going to get in my igloo. I've had enough of this. Cool. These rafts, at least you've got completely waterproof accommodation, should it really get that bad. And they provide you with all the various tubs full of provisions and cooking utensils and this, that and the other. If I catch something worth cooking, I'm going to have a go for it. I've really gone deep now. I'm something like 4 or 5 foot over depth. The shot's right down near the hook. I'm holding back very, very hard, so it just eases along the bottom. There's still a bit of a crosswind, but I've got the late afternoon sun on my back. Here I am sitting in a lovely foreign country, trotting, doing my favourite fishing method. I guess you could say it's peace with the world. Well, I'm not doing particularly well in this swim, but there's an awful lot of river before me, so in a minute I think I'm going to mosey on downstream. See you in Carlstadt. Well, I can't speak Swedish, but I do happen to know the name of this statue. It's called Turning Links, and it sits beside this beautiful lake behind me here, bang in the middle of Karlstad. We couldn't be more urbanised if we tried. There's cars going by, and it's full to the brim of beautiful big crucian carp. So let's see how we're going to catch them Swedish style. Good boy. It's a beautiful spot, this, in this corner of the lake. There's lots of lilies here and massive great big beds of Norfolk reeds there, or common reed, and bulrushes, and I've got all the gear positioned low to the water here. Actually having to sit in the water because of the gnarled roots under these trees. It's a bit grim here at the moment, but perhaps the weather will get out later, you never know. Now I've got some corn in a tub here behind me. This is the bait it would seem everywhere in Sweden. They do seem to like sweet corn, from roach to eye to bream to crucians. And I've got the float set up lift style. Bit of a long cast this for my centre pin, but we'll go with it for a while. If it gets too awkward, a little bit of a crosswind springing up, I'll just go onto a fixed spool. But I like to stay with a centre pin if I can. I get more fun out of playing fish, particularly small fish like crucians. With the centre pin, it's a lot more feeling to it. Let's put out a drop of corn. I've already put quite a bit out, and there's some bubbles coming up, so it looks like it could be good. Crucians in this particular lake grow very large indeed, 2, 2.5, and I've heard of 3 pounders, so it'll be nice to see what happens. Yes, there's definitely some bubbles out there. That's a good sign, very good sign. You think you can see all the bubbles with the naked eye, but you can't always. It's surprising. I think I'll get the binoculars out of my bag and have a look. Yes, there's quite a few separate patches coming out up there, and they're very close to the lilies. I think I'm probably going to have to fish a little closer to the lilies. They're there though. Crucian bubbles often come up as though they don't want you to know that they're there in the swim. It's amazing. There we are at last. That was a delicate bite. God, I don't know. Pull these Swedish crucians. Oh, that's great. I'm glad I stuck with the centre pin now, even though it is a bit of a hassle casting that way near the lilies, but it's much nicer. I can feel it with that spool revolving under my thumb. I can feel every movement it's making. It feels like a very nice fish. God, I've only got a 2.5 pound line on here, and these crucians here are supposed to be 2 to 3 pounds. I'm going to have to be. God, that looks a beautiful fish. I'm going to have to be very careful with this one. Oh, that's lovely. Hey, don't half go. Oh, that lovely swimmer's roll. I don't think I'll bother with the landing out. I'm going to try and pick this one out. I'm sitting nice and low to the water, and you can obviously scare them more by putting a net out and just sort of handing them in. Oh, that's lovely. Come on. Oh, it's a biggie too. Oh, look at that, looks like a dinner plate. Oh, what about that for a crucian? Isn't that knockout? That's almost as deep as it is long. Perky little thing, isn't he? Oh, they weigh heavy too. I bet it's about 2 pounds, I would think. It's a good start. Great. I'd like to shut the float down much more than this. Hello, we're in. It's a good fish too, by the feel of it. Oh, I'm glad I'm under some trees, although if it thickens too much from the east there and we get some lightning, I should be off sharpish. I don't like this sort of weather. Sitting under trees, it's especially holding a carbon rod, it's not conducive to your health. It's really going, this one too. Come on. Oh, there he is. Oh no, he's not finished yet. Oh, come on, come to Johnny. See if I can steer him across the net there. Yes, lovely. Come on. Oh, it's a chunky little one. That's beautiful. Look at that, it's a chunky little fella. Isn't he lovely? Beautiful crucians, absolutely beautiful. Oh, look at that, there's a guy swimming over there. Oh, that's strange, it's the first person I've seen swimming here. Hope he doesn't come through my swim. It's a good swimmer by the look of him too. There we are, we're out there again, that's lovely. I'll wind that down so that's a tiny blimp on the surface. See if we can hit one of these little twitches. Having a bit more traffic coming by now too. It certainly doesn't worry the fish. Let's just wind the float down just a little bit more in case we get a tiny flat. They're not giving really sail away bites now, but the odd little bob. If I was fishing closer, I think I'd be hitting them. I'm a fair way out really for this kind of fishing. A little touch now, little tiny twitch. Hardly strikeable really at this range. A lot of surface drift. Let's just move this line a little bit, the float will go under there. Now I'm going to wind it down so there's only a tiny little bit of it showing. Hello, we're getting a flat now, here we go. Yes, here we are. God, I think just pulling that float there, move the bait a fraction and it spurred the fish into taking it. It's amazing that. It's a good fish too. Really going well. These are really fighting like stink. They're a very good average size. It's the first time in my life I've ever caught crucians averaging over 2 pounds. Wonderful fishing this. Wonderful fishing. And to think that here it is, right in the middle of Karlstad, free, 50 yards from a main road and a housing estate, and we're the only ones here in August. Sweden's certainly got a lot to offer the coarse fishermen from Britain, there's no doubt about that. Oh, this is really going. I wouldn't mind coming back here just for a go at the crucians. Yes, come on. Come to Johnny. Over the net, where you come. Look at that. It's like a bar of gold, that is. It's like a bar of gold. Oh. Isn't that lovely? Well, I don't think there's a nicer spot than this to end the series with, so I'm going to sit here and fish on into the sunset. Bye for now.